Welcome to PCMC Pop Culture Man Children. I'm your host, Mike Bongiorno. This is your one-stop shop for non-toxic fandom. This is a podcast that comes out every single Wednesday, and it's a podcast about movies, TV, ephemera, if you will, all sorts of pop culture goodness, retro stuff, new stuff,
the goods.
Yeah, like very popular stuff, but also very esoteric stuff. I don't say this enough, but I probably should. We're online many places. Instagram, Facebook, ask your grandmother. We're also on Threads, I think. Blue Sky. I'm very active on Instagram. I put a lot of shit on Instagram. I basically use the show's Instagram as my own personal Instagram. I think for a minute I had two, and I was like, I can't do two. I will be Pop Culture Man Children. It's at PCMC Pod. And that'll give you an idea of what's on the show, what's coming up on the show. I do put stuff from my life, but it's mostly I hate that. This feels douchey to say, but lifestyle stuff, like stuff within the realm, I'll show you the new toys I buy. I'll show you me going to theaters and events. It's the kind of stuff that I think a fan of PCMC would be interested in seeing, and I would love for you to engage with me over there. Slide in my DMs and show me your new action figures. I'm excited to see them.
Would it be easier if we just start calling you PCMC? Like maybe we should just change your name.
Like the way Al Lewis changed his name to Grandpa Al Lewis because he was Grandpa in the Munsters, and he was just like, just call me Grandpa. Yeah. Well, I'm not an auteur. I do believe that Pop Culture Man Children is everyone who works on it, and it would not be what it is without everyone. But I am the pretty face of the operation. That's dumb. I'm here with my friend and yours, Nadia Cater. Nadia, how the fuck are you?
I'm alive.
Nadia waved, not understanding the medium very well. Nadia, you look like you've lost weight. Am I allowed to say that? Can I say such a thing?
I don't know if I did or not, but...
All right, well, you do have a new haircut, and it's really working out for you.
Thanks for that.
It's framing your face in a way that you look like you've lost weight, and that's great. If you can look that way without actually doing the work, that's the number one way to really do it.
Well, doing the work is miserable. Isn't that why people take Ozempic and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Now?
I'm trying to lose weight now, and it's so different from any other time I've ever tried to lose weight. Because any other time in my life, when I was young, right, every time I tried to lose weight, it was for the attention of females.
Naturally.
But now I'm trying desperately to lose weight to curb my sleep apnea, to get more restful sleep, to have higher testosterone, to have less anxiety. It's just all my health ailments. Basically everything that ails me, I think, is exacerbated by carrying around too much weight, and I want to be healthier.
So it's not for Jen at all.
Well, it is, because I want to be there for her and I want to live a long time with her. But it's not like when I was younger, it was so the babes would look at me and want to have sexual relationships with me, which, by the way, it didn't really work. But, for a young man, sex is a huge motivator.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, oh man, if I could just lose weight, I could really bag that dame.
Which, who would have thought? Because we're in the age of dad bod right now, which I'm like, so young men don't really know what women want. Because
I will never, I'll never not have a paunch. You know what I mean? I'll always have a stomach. I don't think I'd even want, if I could lose enough weight to lose it, I would rather have a little paunch than sagging skin.
Mm.
I don't have the money for the surgery, so I don't want the sagging skin. So I'll always have a little something, but it's trying to get rid of that adipose fat that's surrounding my my internal organs. That's what I really want to get rid of.
Well, I feel like you're not heavy enough for that anyway. Like that kind of surgery is for people who are well over 350, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I've always had a big stomach. I feel like if I were truly thin, there's no way. Like, could this go all the way? Can this last? Would it bounce back like a rubber band? I know skin's elastic, but it's been stretched out like this for 40 years. I feel like it wouldn't be huge, but it would be something. All right, no one gives a shit about this. This episode is your suggestion, Nadia. This is In the Mouth of Madness from 1994, directed by John Carpenter. This was your suggestion. Why'd you suggest it?
Because it's wild and weird and really great practical effects that are used so minimally.
Yeah.
That they look great even now, 30 something years later. Like, it's amazing.
Agreed. What are your feelings on Mr. John Carpenter in general?
You know what? It's weird because you did like we talked about this on just through chat of just you watched a lot. You noted that I watched a lot of Carpenter movies, which I have, but I never like thought about that. You know, like I wasn't going to see something because it's a Carpenter movie.
Right.
I saw it because I'm interested. And curious.
But a lot of them happen to just be by the same director.
It just kind of worked out. I wouldn't say he's my favorite director. I think he's fun. Yeah. And I think he's a actually more of his movies than him as a person. Just
sure.
I don't know that much about him, but I have a physical copy of In the Mouth of Madness. It's an Arrow video limited release 4K.
Who put it out?
Arrow.
Okay.
Arrow puts a lot of like weird splatter kind of movies. A lot of exploitation. Beautiful. It's actually they did a great job and the movie looks great. But the reason why I say that is because Carpenter contributed 2 audio commentaries out of 3 for this release.
2 were him?
What?
He did 2 different ones?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Are they like themed differently?
Well, the thing is, I only listened to one of them, and I wasn't interested enough to listen to the other one.
Did he get into his gripes and his enemy lists?
Shockingly, no.
He's a very curmudgeonly old man.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, he's so curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not super interesting to hear talk, like listening to that commentary. I actually think his wife was more interesting as the producer. Sandy King Carpenter. But anyway, it's like I don't find him and what he has to say that interesting, but the way his movies come out, like some of them, not all of them, I find really interesting. Like I really like They Live.
Yeah.
I like this movie. I really like The Thing. I hated Ghosts of Mars.
I've never seen it.
Oh God. So, I don't know if this is taboo, but I was listening to a different podcast called How Did This Get Made? So it's been around for a really long time. It's just like 3 comedians and whoever they have talking about like the shittiest movies that they could find.
Yeah.
And they did Ghosts of Mars like within the
last I heard that episode.
Okay, yeah. So I listened to the episode and I had to stop it halfway through because I'm like, this movie is so terrible. The way they're describing it, I can't believe it's real. So I stopped the podcast to watch Ghosts of Mars, which was streaming on the Criterion channel until recently, which is a weird choice.
Well, Criterion, again, we talked on the last episode how Criterion does like folders. Sometimes like what you'll see on the Criterion channel is not things that would be in the Criterion collection. So there was a whole John Carpenter folder that had as many of his films as they could get their hands on. And one of them happened to be Ghosts of Mars.
Well, because I feel like John Carpenter can't give that movie away. It is awful. And he defends it so hard. And I'm like, dude, just own up. You made a crap movie. Like, anyway, I'm not someone who really reveres directors in that way. I'll take them for their humanness. But this movie is so unusual. And I feel like it's different in a lot of ways than his other ones. So
yeah, it certainly is different. It is different. This is him at his most Cronenberg.
Yes.
There's creatures in The Thing, but this is really like this is something different, like you said.
It takes it up a notch.
Well, let me say, I of course love Halloween. We've done Halloween on the show. I do think Halloween is an incredible movie. I really like The Thing. I really like um Escape from New York.
Yeah, I really like that one too.
Um and I like this, and aesthetically speaking, something I like about him is he's not afraid to use darkness. And I mean that not figuratively. I mean that literally. Like he'll have just complete blackness on the screen. I mean, one of the most famous images from Halloween is Jamie Lee Curtis is like just she thinks beat Michael Myers, and she's like leaning against a door frame, and it's complete blackness behind her, and he slowly comes forward, and you just see from the blackness his masks just begin to appear, and then he's there. And there's a shot in this movie in The Mouth of Madness where the two main characters, Sam Neill and the woman, the agent woman, whatever, I forget the actress's name. They're driving, and them in the car, there's lights in the car that are illuminating them. So that's like in the center third of the frame, but the top third is black and the bottom third is black, and it's just the image that's lit up and the image with figures in it is one little sliver in the mise en scène, and I think that takes guts.
He also shot the movie with a wide angle lens for like
Yes.
almost all of it, which is crazy.
Well, I have two. This is my thoughts about. So let me say, for those of you who don't know, wide angle lenses are well, like you've ever seen a fisheye lens, or like when you look through a peephole in someone's door. That's an extreme version of a wide angle lens. It bends the light to sort of give you as much of the distance as possible, and wide angle lenses make the distance between the foreground and the midground and the background seem longer. I think he does it, number one, because it creates a sort of grandeur. It creates a big effect. It looks really good. But I think it's also economic. This movie does not have a lot of money, yet he gives you a sense of the world ending. And I think it's just these lenses. Like there's a sanitarium in this movie, and to skip to the end, although we'll go through the whole movie, Sam Neill is walking out and the world is kind of like ended. And I mean, what do you really have? You have grass in front of the sanitarium and like debris and like garbage around and like maybe some cars or whatever. But the lens gives you so much depth. It gives you so much it gives you scale that you don't have, that you're not going to build, right? So I think it's part of his ability to be really economic.
Oh yeah, definitely. With and also part of that commentary was it was relatively low budget for the kind of the movie it was.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's a lot of effects in it. Someone else would have brought up a big budget.
yes. I think all right. So the budget was like $8 million according to Wikipedia, and it didn't really make a lot of money, but it has a cult like
Yeah.
following. This like I said, the special effects are great, and there's something about the writing of the movie that I find really fascinating. So like,
Yeah.
let's get back to like the concepts. The concept
Yeah.
is Sam Neill plays an insurance adjuster who is tasked, kind of like a detective, to
Yes.
find this really popular author. So this author, this is a heavily inspired by Lovecraft, so that's why
Yeah.
In the Mouth of Madness actually comes from but it's not a direct
Right.
adaptation.
There's At the Mountains of Madness is a
Yes.
Lovecraft. So yeah, this isn't an adaptation of one of his stories. It's like an homage to Lovecraft.
I think it's great. It's like it stands on
Yeah.
its own, but it's also clearly, like you said, that has those influences of
Yeah.
Cronenberg, and Lovecraft. And so the a publishing company basically hires him to find their author who
Mhm.
writes these it is Lovecraftian kind of books, but
Yeah.
his popularity is more like Stephen King,
Yeah, it seems
where he
like
just
he's
like
kind of a King, like a Stephen King kind of. His fame seems to be Stephen King, but I think the author's actual look is Neil Gaiman.
yeah. So it's a lot of interesting influences. So anyway, the author named Sutter Kane disappears. They don't know where he is. They want him back because he's a moneymaker, right? So Sam Neill goes with someone who works for the insurance, like I think his agent, played by I had to look this up. This actress Julie Carmen.
She's great.
She's great, and also what was fascinating, which I can't plug this copy enough. It has some interviews with everyone
Yeah.
but Sam Neill. Julie Carmen was interviewed for this movie, and she talked about like she had two careers. She's a psychotherapist and an actor.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was like, how do you balance two
Which
careers?
first? Actor
Um,
first?
I think psychotherapist first, actually. I think she tried to do
Wow.
both at the same time, which is wild. But
That's crazy.
oh, also she was a dancer. So yeah, this woman.
Well,
Uh,
she's very beautiful, and she's the movie also takes a noir kind of aesthetic. You know, he's kind of a noir detective, and she's kind of a damsel. Not damsel. I'm sorry. She's more like a femme fatale, actually.
yeah. And basically she goes with Sam Neill basically to babysit him to find Sutter Kane.
Yeah.
And well, the reason why I bring up like her interview was really great because she talked about working on this movie and being really involved in it.
Yeah.
And she talked about how there were four movies that she was in that she has found really interesting and like also challenged her as an actor. And this was one of those movies. And I was like, what a compliment.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that she thinks really fondly of this movie like decades later.
Yeah.
When they interviewed her in like 2024, 22, whenever they
Oh,
did.
so it's a fairly new material. Yeah.
Fairly recent material. Yeah, actually a lot some of the stuff on here on this the physical media, it was made for this release.
Yeah.
It also comes with a book of like a book of essays, like a little small book. So it has a cover, right? So you
Yeah.
slide it out. There's a
How much are these people paying you? You fucking shill.
Dude, I love physical media. I'm really getting into it now. But anyway, it came with a two-sided poster and a essay book, so that's cool.
I love
Including
that.
all the interviews. I love when they go all out on movies. I really do because I feel like there was a brief era moment in the physical media, especially with DVD, which has
Oh,
space, where
special
they would,
features.
yeah,
What are
all
the
the
special features, baby?
I know, and I kind of miss that because you don't really,
No.
except for Criterion, you
Yeah.
don't get that.
Yeah, no, you don't get that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, sorry, I kept jumping, but basically we're describing the movie. They go to try to find Sutter Kane. They realize he's in a place that's not on any map, but his book covers make a map of where he is, and it turns out he's in this place called Hobbs End, which is a fictional town that he made up, but somehow it exists.
Yes.
And they go there and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but it's also a movie that has a lot of repetition in it.
Yes, for sure. It's a small story in a way.
Yeah.
It's like a back and forth kind of thing. But it's got really arresting images and really arresting moments. Yeah, I kind of want to go through it. Oh, I want to say this. This is the third in what John Carpenter calls his Apocalypse trilogy, after The Thing and Prince of Darkness. Because all three of these movies, spoiler alert, all end with basically the end of the world, or right before the end of the world. Have you seen The Thing? Have you seen Prince of Darkness?
I haven't. It's been on my list.
It's not great, but it's also like very 70s. Like this looks very 90s. Like it's still 70s Carpenter. So it looks fantastic. And you've got Donald Pleasance playing a priest named Father Loomis. So it's just he's just the same character. He's just the same character as Halloween. But now he's a priest. It's a very interesting kind of sci-fi movie. And yeah. So You know, I was thinking, I think most people probably know Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, but he's like done a lot of horror. Like he's in this, he's in Event Horizon, he's in the Omen sequel, he's in Possession, which I kind of think of as a horror movie. It's about the horror of marriage.
Oh, Possession is one of the most terrifying movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah,
It filled me with dread after
yeah.
watching it. It's
You
great.
there's a meme has come from it of like if you ever seen like a clip of like a woman going crazy like at a train station like throwing her bag against the wall and like breaking eggs, that's from Possession.
Yeah. It's yeah, Sam Neill is actually a really versatile actor.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you look at his filmography, there's like it's really varied.
yeah.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand. Mostly he hides his accent in this movie, but it comes out sometimes.
Oh,
Did
I
not
didn't
bother me
do
though.
that.
I didn't care. He's also going to be in the next Godzilla movie, Godzilla X Kong Supernova, which
Oh,
is like
okay. The next
sure.
American one, because they're
Yeah.
making a minus Godzilla minus zero, which is a sequel to Godzilla minus one.
Isn't it fascinating that they can make like two different Godzillas at the same time from two different countries?
Yeah,
I
and one is
fascinating.
good and one is not. Well, actually, I don't hate the American Godzilla movies. The last one wasn't very good. Kong, whatever that was called, Empire, whatever the fuck. But the first Kong versus Godzilla was good.
Wait, they fought multiple times?
Oh yeah, now that's a franchise of just Kong and Godzilla together.
I mean, don't doesn't
There's a third
someone
one coming out.
win at some point? Like, don't one of them
No,
die?
now they're like kind of like they like in the last one they teamed up to fuck up was it Mega Godzilla? Somebody. Oh no, like no, there was like a big like white ape. I don't know.
I
Anyway,
would see like a buddy comedy movie with Godzilla and Kong. I'm pretty sure that's not what that is.
no, it's not. But they are silly as hell. So it begins with well, over the opening credits, we see a montage of a book being printed, and it's Hobbs End, and we see Sam Neill's character, whose name is John Trent, very detective name. He's being brought into a sanitarium, and this is like a real, like old fashioned movie, like loony bin. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing respectful about this. Like, it's white walls. He's in a straight jacket. He's struggling the whole way. They throw him in a padded room. His first line of dialogue in the movie is, "I'm sorry about the balls. It was a lucky shot," because he kicks one of the guards in the balls. And then there's actually a really disturbing moment. Sam Neill is like through his little window goes, "I'm not insane," and then all the other inmates are going, "Yeah, me too. I'm not insane. I'm not insane." It's like it sounds funny the way I'm saying it, but it's pretty like disturbing in a really interesting way. And John Glover, who's like a great character actor, you know from like a Smallville and Gremlins 2 and a ton of other things, Scrooge. He plays like the head of the sanitarium, and he like puts on these Carpenters music. And there's a joke here where he's like, "Oh God, not the Carpenters," because they had very like light rock kind of music. It's supposed to be like calming them all down. A dark figure that we don't really see appears in his cell and tells him this is not the end. You haven't read it yet. And then we see like a montage of like a bloody axe and like a temple and monsters. There's a lot of like temporal playing where like you'll have montage like in the beginning like you'll cut the things that haven't happened yet and then later on you'll cut the things that happened in the past. David Werner, another great character actor, plays a psychologist who comes in to talk to John Trent. We get the first hint that like the world is ending outside because he says to David Werner's character, "Do you think he's one of them? Things must be getting really bad out there." Again, it's economic, but also like mysterious. Like you don't have to show the world ending.
That
Sam,
makes it fascinating though too,
yeah,
because it's like this horrible asylum is better than being outside. Like it
yeah,
tells you something about the world.
yeah, yeah, and it's a very interesting kind of end of the world of like everyone losing their minds. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. You ever see The Crazies by
I really
George
want to.
Romero? It's
It's
very
on my
good.
list. Yeah. Okay. I gotta check this out then.
Oh, there's a really interesting um he says to the psychologist, you want to know what my them is? And he's like, what do you mean? And he goes, every schizophrenic has a them or they or an it. You want to know what my them is? She says to the psychologist, expect the worst in people, you'll never be disappointed. He also like kind of like the Marquis de Sade, like he's like written all over the walls in the padded room. He's done all these crosses. He's put a crucifix on his head. He's got writing all over him. He's real cuckoo bananas. Um, we then cut to like the first scene where we see just him at his job, and he like finds this guy who's like trying to scam them. It just sort of it's not has nothing to do with the rest of the story, but it just kind of shows that like he's like a good kind of detective. And then we see like a really interesting scene where Trent and some other guy he works with are sitting like in a booth at a diner next to like right near the window, and in the background there's a great depth of field, and this sort of vagrant looking guy comes out of a store, and he has an axe in his hand, and he walks across the street towards towards our characters, and then breaks the glass with an axe and jumps on the table and asks Sam Neill, do you read Sutter Kane? And then the guy with the axe has weird eyes, like he has like double pupils in his eyes. And then that guy is like shot by the police. And then we see Sam Neill at home, and he's watching a news report, and there's some story about fans of Sutter Kane like going crazy. And the news reporter says, when does fiction become religion? And that's when he gets called in by the publishing company. And the head of the publishing company is played by Charlton Heston, wig and all. And like you said, they kind of say like he's missing. He was supposed to be writing a new book for us called In the Mouth of Madness. His other books are bestsellers. They're making them into movies. We don't know where he is. And Sam Neill is very like kind of not buying it from the get-go. He's like, this is probably a publicity stunt. I think you people full of shit. And he's like, but whatever, if you pay me, I'll go. And Charlton Heston says this woman played by Julie Carmen, named Linda Stiles, and he says she's going to go with you. We find out the guy with the axe who attacked them was Kane's agent, who went crazy. And it's this kind of idea, which I always found interesting. It's kind of like the King in Yellow thing. It's like the idea that reading a text can make you lose your mind.
Did you ever read that collection?
I read not all of it, but I read the King in Yellow. I read at least some of it. Like it became popular again when season 1 of True Detective was on, because that had a lot of allusions to it. Did you ever read it?
No, I've been meaning to though.
But I think this idea appears in Lovecraft too, right?
Yeah, like something like I think a book or a text would drive you crazy. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I've read very little Lovecraft. I read the Reanimator. That might be it. The Reanimator story.
Yeah. I think the movie's a lot better, but I read that. I read a few Lovecraft. It's like there's some interesting world building, but I feel like with Lovecraft, it's like his overt racism actually does take away from some of his work. Like I'm not saying I'm not a person who would say don't read something because it's super racist, but like when someone writes a story that a character doing some sort of genealogical study finds out one of his ancestors had sex with a monkey creature, and then that makes him kill himself.
Oh wow.
I feel like, yeah, which I was like, this is crazy.
That is insane.
It's also really like it's clearly an allegory for like being a primitive person or like, a lesser race. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff in there. So I would say hit or miss. I think though, if you keep hearing the term Lovecrafting, you don't know what that means. I would say try to find some of his popular works just to get an understanding of what that is. Like Lovecrafting is kind of this otherworldly horror that is beyond your imagination.
Yeah, it's like cosmic horror, right?
Yeah, cosmic horror. So it's like something so out of this world. And that's exactly what this movie is, because what it does really well is that, like I mentioned earlier, it has these practical effects of these puppets of these horrible creatures, but you don't actually get a lot of time with them. You don't know where they come from really, or why they're where they are, or what their motivations are. You're just like, I'm Sam Neill. I have to run the hell away from these things.
Okay. Have you seen the 2020 movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart?
No.
So a lot of people didn't see it. It's like an action sci-fi horror movie called Underwater that takes place like in this underwater colony. It's a little like Alien, I guess, and Kristen Stewart from Twilight is in it. And well, I'll say spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. It's a secret Cthulhu movie. They don't
Oh,
they don't say that in the advertising at all, which I think is maybe why people didn't see it. It looked like more a disaster movie, but it's a Cthulhu movie. It ends with Cthulhu.
that's cool.
So it's very cool. And Cthulhu is, well, does Cthulhu exist in mythology before Lovecraft, or is he a Lovecraft, or is it Lovecraft's like version of the Kraken idea? I'm just rhetorically asking. You don't have to know these answers.
Yeah. I it could be like a Kraken idea, but like Cthulhu kind of became its own thing where it's like these godlike creatures
Yeah.
that exist in another world that come into this one and
Yeah.
destroy it.
Lovecraft fans are listening to this episode like, oh my god. What don't they know? I know.
I feel like if you're a Lovecraft fan, I'd be a little wary of you if you take this fairly seriously.
An interesting line of dialogue that Sam Neill's character says to the Styles character. He says, "We fucked up the air, we fucked up each other. Why don't we just finish a job and flush our brains down the toilet?" Talking about this book. There's a sort of theme too of like media is trashy in a way. It also kind of like it's about literature, but then I think it kind of changes to be about movies at the end. It kind of becomes a movie allegory.
Well, I think it talks about like media in general and franchises. Like you think about what started their journey, and it's because the publishing company. Well, also it turns out it was a publicity stunt, but he didn't come back when he was supposed to.
Right.
So I think it's about media frenzy. Like this was this became a franchise. Like it was a bunch of
Yeah.
books. He has his like, talks and stuff, and then it becomes a movie.
Yeah. And more people see the movie than have read the book. That's when the world really ends, when they become movies. Because then the movie will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this movie is it cycles back. Like it
Yeah.
shows similar scenes but really different like multiple times. It's kind of speaking to like Sam Neill's character's like insanity. Like things get scarier and weirder and over again.
Well, can you talk about the alleyway scene? That repeats a bunch of times. And it changes a little bit each time.
Yeah, and that's really fun scene. So like Sam Neill is walking into an alleyway and there are these cops beating someone up. And but each time it changes. Like I think the first time it was just one cop, and then it was like two cop, and then it was like a small group of people, but then there was like more people, and all of them were like at first they were normal, but then it happened again, and like they're deformed and then more deformed
Yeah.
over time, and it's kind of frightening. Like
it's really interesting because it's brutal, because it seems like it's a police officer beating maybe an unhoused person for no reason. Because the Samuel sees them and he says something like, "Do you want some?" or something like that. But then like he becomes more monstrous. There's a great jump scare, by the way, where he has a dream later on. He has a dream at home. He starts reading the Sutter Kane books to kind of like get into his mind. And he has a dream of the alleyway, but now the cop has a monster face. And he wakes up. It's a total cheat, but it's great. He wakes up and he's like, ah. And then he like leans forward, and then like the monster cop's right next to him on the couch. And then it's like, ah, yeah, fuck. And then he wakes up again. It's one of those.
That was fun. But it's really interesting. I think it does talk about like media, but also media propagating this violence. Like,
Yes.
but then it doesn't turn into like people emulating. It's more like something about this product transforms people into monsters.
That's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing to be in a movie made by John Carpenter. Because when you think about like the criticisms that slashers got, and you could see it as like, I think about like Roger Ebert would say about slashers, like, oh, it's just about violence towards women, and this belief that maybe it might make you act violently if you watch these movies. It's an interesting. I mean, I don't think he's thinking like Carpenter's thinking about that. But it is yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that until you just said it. He also in the alleyway sees like a poster for one of Sutter Kane's books, and it's like ripped, and he kind of like looks, he peels it a little bit, and at first you can't see what's in it, and then as time goes on, like he's in it, like an image of Sam Neill.
Yeah, it like plays when it loops. He does a little more and a little differently. Because if I recall, the first loop, he like walks away and doesn't bother. But the second time he goes back, he does rip the paper a little more, and he does walk more into the alleyway.
Yeah, and the graffiti changes. When the first time when he's there, the first time on the wall, you just see what does it say? ICA. And then when he has the dream, it says, I can see you.
Which is spooky as hell. Like,
right.
Yeah, so like go back to the poster, like he rips a little bit, he's like looking at it, but he doesn't really have much of a reaction. But then as the movie goes on later, he rips the whole poster, and it's an advertisement for the book that he is in, which is the movie that we are watching.
Yeah.
And it has his face on the cover.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
There's a lot of stuff with time that's really messed up in this too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is. You're right about the repetition, because later on, there's the stuff with the car where he's trying to leave the town. It keeps looping. He can't drive out of the town.
Yeah, like he drives the opposite direction, and then it'll cut, and he's just driving towards the opposite direction that he was going. Yeah. And it just keeps happening, and it's the same like mob of deformed people like acting violently over and over again. One of the essays, I can't remember which one that came in this collection, it mentioned that the movie itself is almost like that the image of the Ouroboros, which is like the snake eating its own tail. So it's kind of like saying like the movie keeps going a specific way, but it's also like looping on itself. It's kind of like eating itself, and it's coming apart as it goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it ends with him sitting in a movie theater watching like the movie he was in. It's interesting, but what's interesting is I would not put this movie in the same category as things like The Matrix or like things like that. You know what I mean? I think it's not even though he's playing with some of those ideas of like text and reality and whatever, it's something else happening. It's almost like saying media is madness. Like there's something mad about fiction.
Yeah, because I feel like with The Matrix, it kind of, I mean, it's a very different, I'm not trying to compare it, but like the idea of that story was that reality isn't what you think it is, and here's a kind of underlying explanation. Where in this movie, it's like you don't know what's real, and you're never going to find out, and you're going to be tortured by it.
And maybe nothing's ever real.
Yeah. Right. So they actually, I think they shot the scene, but didn't include it. At the end of the movie, I got this from the Julie Carmen interview, and they had this really cool interview with Greg Nicotero talking about.
Yeah, they did the effects. KNG did the effects.
Yeah, but it was really good. But one thing that they shot that wasn't in the final movie, Sam Kinison is Sam Kinison. Sorry, Sam Neill.
He would be great in this role.
I don't know if it would have the same impact, but yeah. But anyway, Sam Neill's in the movie theater watching himself and like all the scenes we just saw that keep happening, and apparently Julie Carmen's character Linda Stiles comes from behind him and gives him has his popcorn, she comes back, and then a bunch of tentacles come out of the popcorn. Like they made the effect for that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad they cut that. I like her coming back, but I don't need the tentacles.
Nah, but I feel like if you're gonna make a horrifying monster movie, like
it's also scary to feel like he's the last man alive. in a way.
That's yeah, because
He's
there's
completely alone.
yeah, you're right. Because there are scenes where like he's with people, but then over the course, it's like there's nobody left. Like he leaves the insane asylum, there's no one around, and
Yeah,
everything's destroyed. It's very
yeah.
spooky.
So when they're driving into this little town, you said before, there's like this red line in the background of all of the covers, and he rips the covers off and he realizes that it makes a map. So they're going to this little town, and he's sleeping and Styles is driving, and it kind of goes into her point of view for a minute. And first we see like this kid on a bike, like on the road next to her, and it's all very dark. And then we see another kid on a bike. It looks like the same kid on the same bike, but like the kid has like an old person face
And
and
hair,
like
yeah.
white hair. And there's like kids used to put like cards like from a deck of cards like in the spokes because it would make like this like clicking noise, whatever. So you kind of see that and you hear that. They do some interesting things with sound in this movie. And she looks down at the map and then she looks back up and it's the kid slash old person is right in front of her and like hits her and hits and bounces off the windshield. And then they stop and like they both get out. He wakes up. They both get out to help them. And the young person, like the person looks old, but they have a young voice. And they say, "I can't get out. He won't let me out." And then Styles like is looking like gazing out on like a windmill, and the windmill is like making the same noise the spokes in the wheel made. And then you just cut back to her, and the kids on the bike just going away. So like they just got up and left. And then they're driving again. Trent is asleep, and the painted lines on the road sort of disappear. And this is a cool effect. She puts her head out the window and you see like lightning strike, and it's like she's in the clouds. There's clouds underneath her. And it's really cool, like I don't want to say cheap, but it's you could tell it probably wasn't crazy hard to achieve, but it has such a great look to it. And eventually like they're suddenly like they're on a bridge, and then they're coming, and then they're like in this little cute New England town.
Yeah, one of the commentaries talked about how like there's a town that just looks like that in Canada. So
Yeah.
it
Oh
like
yeah.
works so well because it looks fake. And I'm like, wow, imagine living in a there are places like that in America that just like are kind of tourist traps. So
Yeah.
they look like a little cutesy hometown, but I was like, that must be a nightmare to live in.
I love visiting shit like that.
Yeah, but who
Like,
would want me too, but who would
yeah.
want to live there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it's fun for a day trip.
Yeah. But Hobbs End itself feels do you ever get the feeling like we get when they're actually in the town, it feels mostly abandoned. And there's like little almost like vignettes or loops that are different stories that
Yes.
are in the Sutter Kane books, but they don't feel like complete stories, but it feels like
Yeah.
which is kind of incredible because
Like the little kids chasing a three-legged dog. You see
well,
that a few times.
but well, for the first time they chase it, it has four legs.
Oh.
And then it has three legs. And then later you see the children even more deformed, and they saw one of them who's talking to the camera has blood all over her face. So it tells these like
Yeah.
snippets of the story, but we don't get the whole story.
And then there's the inn and and we should say that Styles says this is exactly how it's written in the book.
Yeah, she's already creeped out. Like she does not want to be there. But
Right. Because she
Samuel is
knew it was
like,
a hoax. She knew it was a publicity stunt, and she didn't expect to like find this. And then they go to the inn, and there's the great innkeeper and the painting. The painting on the wall, it's like it's a cute little like the main whatever the check-in desk. And the painting on the wall is like these two people by like a water. It's like just like a scenic thing. But then like Styles looks again, and they're turned around, like they're not facing out anymore. The innkeeper is like, oh, I forget who plays her. The innkeeper is like this great character actress,
Frances Bay. She's great for
Frances Bay,
playing an old lady. She played an old lady for a long time.
Happy Gilmore's grandmother. But she's been in a million things, and she's like this sweet innkeeper. Styles like is kind of losing it. She's questioning reality. She says they're living inside the book. She says like if you open the window you'll see the black church, and he does, and it's not there. And then she goes, "You read it wrong. It's this direction." And she opens the window, and you see this beautiful black like cathedral.
That's
Uh,
also scary as hell.
yeah.
Which is also that's a real church. It's like a Greek Orthodox church or something.
Oh,
Which is
really?
great. Yeah, it was actually really funny. When I was listening to that was one of the few interesting things John Carpenter said was like they were driving to go to a
Uh-huh.
different location to film the church, stopped the car when they saw this and decided to film there because
Interesting.
it's
But did they change
great.
it? Did they paint it? Because it's black. Was it really black?
Oh man, I don't recall, but the outside is what it looks like. So like they just
Yeah.
used it, which
She
is
just yeah. She describes that in the Sutter Kane story, that there had been an old cathedral, but the black church like swallowed it up, like grew around it, and that's where the monsters come from. She sees the kids chasing the dog. There's a big mosaic of Christ on the front of the black church. There's a lot of Christian imagery in this.
yeah.
A bunch of the townspeople drive up to the church with guns. There's one father who's played by Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2, and he says to the church, like, give him back. And then the doors of the church open, and we see a little boy standing there, and that's his son. And then they keep like swinging open, close, open, close. And then finally we see what we read to be Sutter Kane there. And he's played by Jurgen Prochnov, who's another very recognizable character actor. And I think they make him look like Neil Gaiman. He's got like that business casual black like dress, outfit, but then like the long but short hair. He looks very Neil Gaiman to me. A bunch of wild dogs come and attack the people and chase them away. There's a kind of Children of the Corn thing happening at this section of the movie. We see cornfields, but we also see like something's up with the kids in this town.
Yeah, well, I mean, they allude that they ate that dog.
Yeah.
And also
Yes.
they were like very monstrous. One of
Oh
them
yeah.
said something real creepy. Did you capture that?
What happened?
One of the little girls was like
Oh.
talking to Linda Stiles. She's like, "Are you my mommy? You're gonna be my mommy now." And the way she says it
You
is
know,
so frightening.
yeah. She's like, do you know what today is? It's Mommy's Day. She sounds like a cart. She's like, hello, I'm a little monster. Like she has like a monster face. It's very fun. It's disturbing. But it's cute because you could tell she was like having fun playing this little monster.
Creepy.
Back at the inn, she's like John Trent, played by Sam Neill, is like Sam Kinison is like yelling at her, and he's saying like, you set this up, and this is when she admits that it was a publicity stunt, but you know he was supposed to go somewhere and he didn't show up where we're supposed to go. And um uh like a lot of stuff she's seeing is from the first part of the new book that wasn't released, but she's only seen some of it. She comes to ask him to help, but he wants to leave, but then she starts like using her feminine wiles and starts kissing him and stuff. So they kind of, all right, let's.
Well, I feel like the town
Yeah.
made her lose her mind. I feel like when she was doing that, that's
Yeah.
when she was like possessed or whatever. They don't really explain things in this movie, but it does something to your mind. I think there's something. And also speaking about the shadows that you mentioned earlier, there's something inherently frightening about not totally knowing what's going on.
Yes. But what I want to talk about gender. I want to talk about masculinity in John Carpenter movies,
Okay.
because he has a certain idea of masculinity that I think is very well. He's very influenced, and he says this. He's very influenced by Howard Hawks. And Howard Hawks movies had a certain idea of masculinity. It's like John Wayne. It's like violence is
Swagger.
justified, and also, but like camaraderie amongst men is the most important thing. You see that a lot in The Thing. If you look at like the detective in Halloween 3, he's like this like ugly dude, but he's like swaggering and like fucks the ladies, and like it's a very like, I'm gonna be a dick and do what I want, and women are gonna want me kind of thing. Um,
Hmm.
it's a very like outdated, I want to say boomer fantasy of how gender should work and what masculinity should look like.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Because I was like, why is she kissed? Like, why? It just felt like, all right, I know they're the two leads in the movie and they're a man and a woman, but like she just starts kissing him, and it's like, all right, He does go fuck this and leaves. He goes downstairs and now the painting, like, they're just like weird tentacle monster people. And the old lady innkeeper's acting super weird. He leaves and we see at her feet is to her husband is handcuffed to her ankle and he's nude.
Oh, that was so frightening.
But it's really interesting too, because it's like, boy, does that tell a story? Like, why? Like, he does mention like the innkeeper in the book Hobbs End kills her husband, but that hasn't happened yet. Um, Trent goes to a bar. Viggo the Carpathian's in there, and he wants him to leave. He goes back to the Black Church, and Styles. Oh, sorry, in front of the Black Church. Styles is there, and she sees a bunch of kids. That's the one who goes, "It's mommy's day." Um, Outside the church, there's a plaque that says, "Any who dare enter this unholy site be damned forever." She enters the church. Inside, it looks very medieval. I really like the production design. There's burning torches on the wall. She sees an upside down cross carved into the wall, an upside down crucifix, which is sacrilegious. It's supposed to be. She opens the door and she finds like a little room with a desk and a typewriter on it. And but like all around, yeah, it's just like this little room. And then she walks away, and then she starts hearing like a typing noise, and then she walks back and opens the door again, and now it's a completely different space. It's this large cavernous space with dark, like reddish, evil-looking walls, and Sutter Kane is there writing at the desk, typing, and he's got one of the dogs next to him. But this is all done in one shot, so I guess like they had like a small little like closet room with the desk in it, and then as she walked away, they moved that. They had to this. I don't know. I mean, it's all done in one shot. It's very cool, but it also feels like the interior of like a body. It's like hell, but it's also like a body. Like I say, it feels very Cronenberg. This movie, like you don't really think of John Carpenter with body horror, even though there's body horror in the thing. You think of him more like Halloween is like a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Um, she walks through the door, and then like a hand that we don't see like comes out of nowhere, grabs her, and then the next shot she's in the space, but the door she walked through is gone, so she's just in that space. And now he says that for years he thought he was making it all. He starts like monologuing. He's like, I thought I was making it all up, but really they were telling me what to write and giving me the power to make it all real. We see a door in the space, like a different door that's like pulsating and it's got slime on it and it's chained up. So it's like it's holding something back. And we hear like weird monster noises behind it. She starts to seem like she's in a trance. He sensually grabs her hair and then pushes her face down. This is very, again, John Carpenter masculinity. He like forces her face downward to look at the manuscript on the desk to drive her crazy, but it also feels very like sexual assaulty.
Yeah.
They start like kissing. Now she loses her mind. Her eyes start bleeding and she's like in a trance, and now they start like kissing. But then we see behind him like he's got something growing out of him, almost like Voldemort in the first Harry Potter. There's like a body coming out of the back of his body.
It's like a Quado looking thing.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. So back at the hotel, Sam Neill finds the innkeeper. This is a great practical effect. She's like a big like monster now. Like he opens like this dark room and she's in there chopping her husband up with an axe, but like the top of her looks like the lady with an axe, but it's like clearly like a big animatronic. And then these giant like you can tell it's an animatronic, but at the same time like the practicality of it looks really cool. And you know again, restraint is really interesting here. Like John Carpenter, they clearly spent a ton of money on these things, but he's smart enough to show them in darkness with very quick cuts. Like tons of work is put into all this stuff, and you would think like you want to get your money's worth and really show it on screen, and he doesn't.
He also does a lot of close-ups, so like you don't always see the whole monster. Like you'll see like drooling teeth or like eyes or like the arms or tentacles. And I know I keep shilling this thing, but they actually have some footage shot on video, doesn't look very good, of just that scene of the monsters coming through the tunnel. And even though it's it wasn't meant to be shown in that way of like
Yeah,
part of the movie. It would look worse if they showed the
I'm sure.
straight, like cutting and Samuel like running and cutting back and forth. Like it really kind of puts you in that place of like almost anxiety in a way of
Yeah.
like, wait, did you explain how they got to the tunnel? Because I thought that was really
We didn't
cool.
get to the tunnel yet.
Okay.
We didn't
So,
get to the tunnel yet.
yeah.
Um, Trent goes back to the bar again. Like you said, there's a lot of going back and forth. V goes there. He says the thing I can't remember is what came first, us or the book. And then he says reality is not what it used to be, which is a fun line. Vigo goes to shoot himself. He puts like a shotgun under his chin, and Samuel's like, "Don't!" And then he says, "I have to. He wrote me this way." So there's sharp dialogue in this too. It's punchy. Styles is outside. She punches Trent, and he punches her back again. John Carpenter masculinity. If you gotta slap a lady or punch a lady, you gotta do it.
Punch her, get her in the car.
Yeah, he does it, and then he puts her in the car. He tries to drive away, but she swallows the keys. He punches her again. This is just out of anger. He just punches her again. So now there's like, yeah, go on.
You know how they did the keys? They made them out of pasta.
Oh, lovely.
Like you don't even you see her holding something and it does like again it's like kind of almost a bit sleight of hand. You don't fully see it.
Yeah.
But so she actually did swallow them. I was like, that's a cute little effect.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, we're almost at the end because it's actually a very short kind of movie. He uses a screwdriver to start the car. There's all these marauders now in town coming after them. They all have like blood on the side of their mouths and like blood coming out of their eyes and like darkness around their eyes. You know, they all look like they've gone crazy. He keeps trying to drive away, but then he'll just be back driving on the main road, right back to where he was. At one point, he's back on the main road and he's like, fuck it. So he just tries to drive through them. And the Marauders kind of move, but then he sees Styles is right there and he doesn't want to hit her. So he swerves out of the way and crashes. And then he wakes up in a confessional booth. And it's like a cool, like bird's eye camera view of like the top of him in the confessional booth. And Sutter Kane is on the other side of it. And he goes on some weird rant comparing horror stories to the Bible and religion. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. He starts to refer to the monsters as the old ones. He wants Trent to bring, now that he's finished the manuscript, he wants him to bring it to his publisher so it can be published. That's what he wants from him. He tells Trent that he wrote him. The author like peels himself back and he's like, paper? This is good early CG for what it is because it's supposed to look fake. And that's what leads us to the tunnel. The door that had the chains on it breaks, and like these, basically a wall of monsters starts running after them. And he's like running down the hallway and they're behind him. And they talked about this on Corridor Crew and showed you some of that footage. Corridor Crew is like the videos of the VFX artists reacting to special effects. And like some of them are just big costumes. There's one that is like a wall where it's really like a bunch of guys behind it, like pushing it like a cart. But again, though, he cuts it very, very fast, and you know he gets very close on details of it, so you can't really get a good image of all of it.
The CGI part though, back to like Kane, it's like he's literally ripping himself out of the story because he's not anymore. And you see the whole, but you also see pages. And if you look, there's text, and it's like part of the book. And I was like, this is crazy. Like the ambition to do that in this kind of movie and this low budget is really impressive.
It's also interesting to think of like text like that as the text of the film, in a way. Like what's inscribed in images. He's now trying to he gets on like a bus to go home. He sees the kid from before, and now he looks normal. He tries to throw away the manuscript, but it keeps coming back to him. He's on a bus, and then at one point next to him is Sutter Kane. And this feels very cinematic. Sutter Kane is like, you know, I need you to do what I need you to do. And he's like, no. And then he's like, you know what my favorite color is? Blue. And then Samuel wakes up and there's a blue filter over everything. And everyone's costumes are blue.
Even a woman's hair is
like we're talking about cinema here. You know what I mean?
Even someone's hair is like, so they played the scene twice. The first time he's on the bus, everyone looks normal, and Sam Neill's losing his mind. Second time's like blue, then everything's blue, and again he's like blue.
Yeah.
Which is fun. It's a movie that kind of doesn't take itself super seriously, and I really enjoy that.
It also doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like, what is it? Is it even 2 hours? It's like maybe an hour and 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not. It's not too long a movie.
95 minutes.
Nice.
It's tight. It's tight.
Tight. Yeah, he goes back to the alley, but he rips the poster and he sees himself in the poster. He's back in Charlton Heston's office, but now Charlton Heston Styles like doesn't exist anymore. She's like been written out, and he's like, "Who are you talking about?" And he's like, "Styles," and he's like, "That's not a person." And he's like, "We're gonna publish In the Mouth of Madness soon," and Samuel's like, "You can't publish it. You can't publish it." And he's like, "We have to." And the movie's coming out next month too, which is like, what have you ever seen a movie come out a month after the book is published?
I think they're like, yeah, because he even says, "Well, you already brought it back," and that's like the crazy. Like we never see that happening, and Sam Neill's not even aware of it. But like, you already came back.
Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah,
it's the time thing. It's like really messing with you.
But it also says something about like will, like free will, because he's written, right? I think what Sam Neill realizes is he's not real, like, or maybe he was real, but the writing of the story, in writing the manuscript, he made all of reality
change
into a text.
Well, I also like the movie doesn't give you that answer. Like,
no.
I'm fine. That actually, I feel like that's what makes me come back to this movie, like watch it more than once, because all these little things that you don't, you don't notice or you don't see, and so it's and then it's too late. Like the world is, and you see people changing in the real world, as they did back in Hobbs' End of becoming.
Yeah, it's like a real epidemic now.
Yeah, it's like a violence epidemic.
Yeah.
People are just killing each other in the streets. Like,
and Sam Neill kills a guy with an axe, which is what got him arrested and put in a sanitarium in the beginning. He has an interesting line where he's talking to the psychologist, and he says, "Every species can smell their own extinction."
Woof.
Yeah. Now this is done really economically. The lights go off and we hear screaming and shouting outside his cell. So you don't really see the old ones and the monsters coming in, but clearly that's what's happening. And that's when he then like comes out of the cell and everybody's dead and everything's fucked up, and he walks outside, and you hear the information is being given to us over a radio, and we hear like people are turning into monsters. The world is basically ended. He wanders down the empty street, and that's when he wanders into a movie theater, and in the marquee it says In the Mouth of Madness starring John Trent, which is weird because that's the character, but also the guy. It would be really weird if it said starring Sam Neill. That would have really like meted it. And he's on the poster of the movie. And then he goes in, and this is a meme too. You've probably seen this image of him like in like basically like pajamas with a popcorn. Somehow he gets popcorn. And then he's watching the movie, and it's just a montage of clips from the movie we've just seen.
And he's laughing while he's watching it.
Yeah. And like that's it. That's how it ends.
Yeah. It's such a wild movie. Very small thing. When he gets off the bus and he's on the side of the road trying to get rid of the manuscript that he already delivered or something, whatever the time thing is, he talks to a paperboy and he like thinks he's in the real world.
Yeah.
That paperboy was Hayden Christensen. It was his first film role.
Oh shit.
He became
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader in one version of events. Yeah. And and that was
I didn't notice that at all. Interesting.
Yeah. I think that the movie like messing with Sam Neill, I think is fun in itself, of just like think what you think is real isn't, and you have no control here. I think that's the end of the movie, is just him accepting that in a way.
Yeah. And that's fun.
You wonder
also, I'm sorry.
What could happen? No, I'm sorry. I guess you kind of wonder what would happen if it kept looping. Like, would it eventually come into nothing? Like, would he just be
right? If he watched the whole thing, would it end with him in the theater watching him in the theater?
Yeah, that would be really, really trippy. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's wild. It's wild work to have the movie end. I mean, we talked about this when we talked about what's that movie about ramen? Tampopo.
Tampopo, yeah.
Yeah, that begins with an audience looking like a movie theater audience talking to us and looking at us. It's crazy that this movie ends that way of like him in the movie watching us, kind of. It's always interesting. I mean, you actually see that a lot in sitcoms. Like in sitcoms, domestic sitcoms, the camera is where the TV is. So like the TV is like a magic mirror in between your world and theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you rarely see that in movies, and so it's just an interesting way to end it. And I like that it ends where it does. I mean, all of these movies in the trilogy, like the thing ends with you don't. There's two guys left, and one of them is the thing, and one isn't, and they don't know who, and it's gonna get out, and it's gonna kill everybody. And spoiler alert for Prince of Darkness, it basically ends the whole time they're like trying to understand a message, and it's a message of like we're coming and we're gonna fucking you're all gonna die, and that happens too. And then there's this, so it's like all three of these movies are not about the apocalypse but like the lead up to it. And actually when I think about it, he doesn't count this as part of his trilogy, but Halloween 3 also kind of ends that way, right? It ends with the masks, like they play the commercial, you know, the 3 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. And have
Oh,
you
right.
have you seen Halloween 3?
Season of the Witch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
that ends with like an end of the world kind of thing.
Right. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
apocalyptic.
Yeah. I have you ever watched these three movies like closer together? Like
No, no.
I haven't. I'm kind of, and I, like I said, I haven't seen Prince of Darkness, but I'm kind of curious about what it would be like to watch them so close together. If there's things that tie them together.
I've seen Thing a couple of times. You know, I've seen it, you know, a long time ago, and it's a movie I'm a fan of. But I only just watched Prince of Darkness and this movie in the Mouth of Madness just like this Halloween, this October. Because they were both on the John Carpenter thing and Criterion. So I watched them like maybe a day apart. So that was the first time I saw those movies.
Okay. Huh.
Um yeah. Have you seen Dark Star?
I don't
That's
think so.
that first movie he ever made. It's like a comedy in space. It's by the same writer as Alien.
Oh, I don't think
I
I
could
have.
have swore we talked about it.
Wait, is this the one with the really crappy effects?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, maybe we didn't we see this together?
No, you're thinking of the Black Hole.
Oh, that was awful.
That was the Disney movie that ends in hell.
In space, yeah. Okay, no, I don't think I saw Dark Star.
It's his first movie, and it's clearly his first movie, and it's like a young student film, but it's a feature length film, and it's surprisingly competent for someone that young. But anyway, yeah, he's an interesting guy. He is a curmudgeon. You know, he always was like an outcast, and like now he's got like bullshit. He's like has all these stories of like how he was slighted by David Cronenberg and how he doesn't like Spielberg. Like he doesn't like anybody. You know, he's kind of like he kind of has a like a, oh, you think you're better than me like vibe as a filmmaker. You think you're fucking
Huh.
better than me?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Um, that that to me is not fun. But I think some of his movies do really have merit, and I would say that this one is just fun.
Yeah,
Like
this is a good movie. It's a
it's
good
not
movie.
it's not a downer. Like
Oh, you don't think it's a downer?
no,
I
because I think it's
Yeah.
funny.
It is funny. Okay. I don't know. I think I kind of find it to be a downer. But
Okay.
yeah, but no, it does have a sense of humor. And you know,
Well,
like with more money, it
mhm,
wouldn't be as good. With a
I
different
agree.
director, it wouldn't be as good.
I really agree. I think John Carpenter did a great job with this, and clearly Sandy King was keeping him in line. Um,
Well, last week we talked about Megadoc and Megalopolis, and like we were talking about how like having constraints creates creativity. Like Carpenter's this movie's good because he had a small budget to work with, so he had to make it work.
yeah, and I mean I don't know what he's like to the cast and crew or not, but Um, haven't heard him treating people like shit, like Coppola, or
Yeah, I haven't heard anything
assaulting
like that
people.
either. Yeah.
So I guess that's where the line is. Well, at least he didn't assault anyone on
Yeah.
set.
But you see him a lot in documentaries now, like whenever there's like a horror documentary. What was the last film he made? Was it Ghost of Mars?
It was something after that, I think. Did I see it? No.
I'm gonna look it up. John Carpenter.
Oh God, I can't state how bad Ghost is. Like it's shockingly bad. Like it's not just like a crappy movie. It's a movie where every choice was the wrong choice. Like it's so bizarre, and I think just for that, it's fun to see. Of like, how could you make? And I'm not a filmmaker. Um, I know anecdotally and from watching productions and stuff that like movies are really hard to make, but there were so many choices in Ghosts of Mars that were just bizarre and like not great. He made a movie called The Ward in 2010.
The Ward.
Ward as a like WARD.
Oh, what the fuck? What
I've
is?
never heard of it. Is he doing the new Halloween movies or is that directed by someone else?
He does he does the soundtrack.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He does a lot of work as a composer. Yeah,
That's
what
also
the,
interesting.
so his last feature film was 16 years ago.
Yeah,
And the one right before that was Ghost of Mars. I
yeah,
kind
which
of like vampires. You ever see Vampires?
no, I haven't. Is that worth checking out?
It's fun.
I like fun.
Oh, he
Um,
did Starman. I don't like Starman. Oh, I like Christine. I'm like remembering movies as I see them.
I didn't like Christine.
No,
I feel like there was. It just felt like I was waiting for things to happen. I don't know. I got kind of bored. I feel like that was a
I
movie
get
that
you.
could have used a little editing. Like could have been a little tighter. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think John Carpenter has some. He did The Fog, which I feel like I was indifferent towards, but
I've never seen it.
it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um,
People
well,
say it's very good.
Well, yeah, I think I need to give it another chance, but it's a ghost movie in 1980 where like slashers are coming, so it feels a
Yeah.
little weird, you know?
He was always like out of step with things. Like the Thing came out the same day as E.T. and or the week after, and he always says like, I think that people didn't like the Thing when it came out because we were thinking about this idea of friendly aliens and I was thinking about a bad alien, so it's just like the zeitgeist was wrong.
Which is hilarious though. Like I think that's funny. Um but Ghost of Mars, what makes it really different is it's more of an action movie, but an action movie where there are these aliens that inhabit people on Mars and make them go crazy. So there is he does have a thread of that, of like
Yeah.
other presence, but I think it's a real
Yeah,
miss.
people go crazy in his movies.
That's like a thing. That's his thing. Like Escape from New
Yeah.
York, Escape from LA are also people not really like a monstrous presence, but more like people going crazy.
Yeah.
Again, So yeah, that's kind of his thing, but I feel like generally with artists they tend to like loop around the same ideas.
Yeah.
You know? Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but
No.
it's common. I'll check out Vampires. I feel like
It's fun.
vampire western. I feel like I don't know. I'm not always interested in vampire movies unless they do something like really challenging. Like did you ever see Near Dark?
Yes. I saw it at MoMA, actually.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite like vampire movies because it's so different. It's
I
gross.
don't love it as much as everyone else. I know people
Okay.
love it. I appreciate it more than I like it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I feel like I find it a little boring.
Okay. Interesting. It's where we skew.
Hot takes. Hot
Hot
takes coming out
takes.
of it. They're making a Broadway musical of The Lost Boys, the vampire movie by what's his name? Joel Schumacher.
Do you think they're going to include that like buffed up saxophone player in it?
I hope that's the whole first act.
there's just some buff guy with a weird 80s mullet hair, just really dishing it out. And that guy was really greasy too. It's like they build him up like, no, you're the sex symbol here.
Yeah. He's just an extra. You know what I mean? Like, he has nothing to do with the story. Yeah.
Is it like what does that look like though as an adaptation? Like, is it a comedy? Is it
Oh, it's probably like half-heartedly serious. It's gotta be, right? I mean, but the movie was also had comedy in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Eventually every film will be made into a Broadway musical.
Yeah, yeah. I would be ready for In the Mouth of Madness as a Broadway musical.
Oh yeah, I'd love the merch. Great merch.
Oh man, the t-shirts would be incredible. And also imagine having like a, I don't know, like a Sutter Kane lunchbox or action figures of the little old lady who eventually devolves into some kind of tentacle creature with an axe. That'd be great to have.
Me and Jen saw the Death Becomes Her musical, and it was great. It's really good.
I heard really good things.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, Nadia, this has been PCMC. Thank you so much for coming on and bringing your unique ideas, your unique perspective.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about a movie I love so much.
I'm being paid to promote.
Oh my goodness. I wish.
No, if PCMC is about anything, it's about, talking about something that you love. There's value in that.
Yeah, absolutely. There is. And there's joy in it. And I always, one of the things I really love about guesting on this show is just the joy we have talking about media. Even if we hate whatever we were watching, like it's so fun.
Yeah. Well, in these dark times, you have to look, obviously you can't put your head in the sand. You have to be aware, but you also can't be aware 24 hours a day or you'll lose your mind and you'll be no good to help anybody. So you need the things that are good in life. You need to indulge in the stuff you want. I've been binge watching Steven Universe, which I've never seen before, believe it or not. But it's great. It's so super comforting, super fun, super colorful, super gay. I love it.
It's also very sweet too.
Yes, it's very sweet. It's very sweet.
That's a comfort too. I think we need sweet things too.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying to somebody at work today, cruelty is popular now. In such a weird way, cruelty is popular. So, being nice is an act of revolution, baby. This has been PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno, joined by Nadia Keita. Nadia, we end every episode by saying,
do you read Sutter Kane?